And there we go. We are rolling. What's going on, guys? Welcome in. Great to see you all. Hope you're doing absolutely splendid today. So, on today's video, we're going to be checking out the brand new single called Geocentric Laceration by a band called Facelift Deformation. Now, I am very much aware of Facelift Deformation. They are one of my favourite slam and brutal death metal bands. Their last two releases, Cybernetic Organism Atrocities and Dominating the Extermination, both absolutely slap. There's many bands out there that are weaving all these different styles together, and it's an amazing roller coaster of, like, wonder and astonishment, and contained within one song and all that type of shit, all that type of good shit. That's not what you get with Facelift Deformation. It's slam and brutal death metal. And then it's more slam and brutal death metal, and then just when you think it can't slam or brutal or death metal anymore, it pours another massive big pile of slam and brutal death metal right into you. There's no djent breakdowns, there's no sprinklings of clean vocals, there's no black metal atmospherics. It's slamming brutal death metal, and I fucking love it. Really like Facelift Deformation. So this new song, protect your faces, because they are going to get melted, because I imagine that this is going to be pretty goddamn ferocious. Another thing I really like about Facelift Deformation as well is that they've got this kind of like futuristic vibe, with like the artwork and the lyrics, and they've got these little kind of very slam and brutal death metal-esque, like little interludes where like all the old slam bands and stuff that have got sounds of people being tortured and all that type of stuff in their songs, all that lovely Christian goodness. These guys do that, but it all sounds like it's something from some kind of like sci-fi horror thing. It's like some kind of creature breaking out of an egg and or something bursting out of someone's chest or some shit. It's pretty cool, and the production value on these songs is, I think the only way I can describe the double bass is thudding. It thuds. You'll see what I mean, because I imagine that the production value on this is going to stay more or less the same as all the rest of their stuff. Now, obviously, now that I've said that there isn't, these guys have kind of stick to their sound and they don't really deviate from it, there's going to be some kind of djent breakdown in this just to make me look stupid. But I seriously doubt it, my friends. Okay, pretty excited about this one. Facelift Deformation. Geocentric Laceration. Let's go. See you on the other side. Absolutely no time wasted. Good lord. Cool video. I like that. That's cool. harmonics. Jesus. Okay. All right. Short and to the point. Facelift deformation, ladies and gentlemen. So, when I predicted that there wasn't going to be any kind of djent breakdowns or progressive metal or maybe some mathcore sprinkled in there, I was 100% right on the money, as I guess everyone else probably expected. Facelift deformation, geocentric laceration. I honestly do think these guys produce just some of the best pure slamming brutal death metal that you can find that you can find on the scene right now. I cannot speak highly enough about how well their songs are produced. Sometimes I find that slam and brutal death metal can have this problem where it sounds like everything's trying to fight to be on top, to be heard. So it's like, no, I want to be louder, no, and they're kind of like fighting, and it's not really that. It can kind of sound a little bit muddled at the top. So you're trying to pick out things, but it's not quite. It's difficult. It just becomes a bit muddy and a bit too a bit too chaotic. Not a problem with these guys at all. You can very clearly hear everything: the vocals, the bass, the guitars, the drums. The production on that double bass, the way it's produced or mixed or however, I'm not a music guy, so I don't really know the proper terminologies. But good lord, it hits right at the back of the head. Like really, if you're wearing headphones, it's like right there. You can actually, it's like someone's like actually hitting you in the back of the head. It's so meaty. It's so meaty and so chunky, and those the style and the how those pinch harmonics were spread out in that song were actually were very sporadic. There was a few parts of the song where I was like, okay, now I can start to bang my head, and it would stop, and then it would start going, and it would kind of like throw you off a little bit, which is good because an issue that I sometimes have with slam and brutal death metal is that it can get a little bit boring. I really like these guys, but I would be lying if like I don't know, just say like 8 tracks into a 12-track album, and by the end of it I'm like, okay, this is really good, but like my god, just like a little interlude, a little break, something to kind of like just so I don't actually like have to like call halftime and go back and like have a like go and have an energy bar and psych myself up to listen to the rest of the album, just something. But these guys managed to change it up with just these guys managed to keep it fresh with just little things like that, just little interesting pinch harmonics, little stops and starts. Really like the last the second half of this song. Those two grooves at the end really threw me off as well. They were actually kind of just very good. You know exactly what you're getting with with bands like Facelift Deformation. You know exactly what they know who their audience is. They know the style that they like, and the two just go together like yin and yang. So it's always a safe bet. If you like slam and brutal death metal, if you like facelift deformation, you're going to continue to like facelift deformation for probably the rest of the time, as long as these guys release music. Another thing as well was that was probably one of the cooler music videos. what do we call that? Do we call it a music video, or do we call it I think some people have called it like a visualizer or something like that. I don't really know. But that was definitely, this is empty. That was definitely one of the cooler ones. It was very, very cool. The alien, the you know, like the way it was animated, the style of it. This might be a little bit of a tangent, but the way it moved and the way it kind of stood out from the background, the main alien thing, it reminded me of the art style in a game called Darkest Dungeon. I don't know if anyone's actually played that, but it's kind of like it's like a role, it's very difficult to describe actually, but go and check out, just go onto YouTube, type in Darkest Dungeon, and you'll see what I mean about the similarities in the style. It actually looked like the alien in the video was actually making some of the noises a few times as well, which I'm not sure if that was like, I'm not sure if that was purposeful or not, but it was very, very cool. It really stood out. You know, there's a lot of bands doing these kind of videos just to give something, you know, people something to look at, but most of the time it'll just be maybe the lyrics up on screen, and that's about it. You're not really going to get anything else. But these guys actually went out their way to make this kind of horrific looking alien mutant demon thing kind of come alive on your screen, and also still keeping in, you know, they're still keeping in still keeping in touch with this kind of futuristic alien kind of spin on slam and brutal death metal, and not just your kind of standard torture chamber guy with a chainsaw type thing, which is really, really cool. So to sum up, fucking absolute sickness from Facelift, Deformation, Geocentric Laceration. I can only presume that we're going to be getting another album, or at least an EP from these guys, dropping sometime this year. I presume. Cannot fucking wait to hear that. As per usual, the links to all the bands, you know, Spotify's and Apple Music's and fucking Facebook, Twitter, all that type of shit. It will all be down below, as it always is. Please click on every single link, comment, subscribe, follow, share it, buy a t-shirt if you really, really like these guys. Just support in any way, because I want to hear more of this, and I really want to see more of those. I want to see more. I want to see more of that specific alien, because that is definitely one of the coolest looking aliens, alien demon crab spider things I've seen for quite some time. So anyway, yeah, awesome stuff from Facelift Deformation. Go check that shit out. Thank you very much for joining me once again, guys, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.